a quick, small little PowerPoint presentation, kind of walk you through some of the talking points I want to hit. And then at the end, I'm going to do a live demo. So, College Coaching Network, it happened out of my own personal plight. We started College Coaching Network because we saw that the way people were preparing for college, they were was dead wrong. And so let me give you a quick story about kind of some things that happened for me. And we're going to teach about how to play the scholarship game. But me myself, I graduated a long time ago. It'll be 30 years this year that I've been out of high school, class of 1992. And so basically, what happened for me was my mom wanted me to go to college. She wanted me to be the first in my family to ever attend college. And so what we discovered was you definitely should have good grades. So she really hampered that. She got ready to take basketball away from me because I didn't take care of my business my freshman year. And I went from probably like a 2.1 GPA to 3.875. I graduated on principal's honor roll because my mom threatened me that she was going to take basketball away from me. But once I did that, I thought I was a shoe-in to get a scholarship. And when I found out was my low ACT test score, which was only a 17, prohibited me from actually getting a academic scholarship. So when I went down to Pittsburg State, where I went to college, I found out very quickly that I was not in position to get any scholarship money academically because my ACT test score was so low. And I'm not saying this as a knock to any of the school counselors that are out there. I simply did not have enough time to get the teaching or the training from the school counselor that I deserved. And so what happened was my score was so low that I went under academic probation because they make you take a test in order to find out if you're able to get into the college. And so because I went under academic probation, they told me that my mom was going to have to almost deplete her 401k just to cover 1 year of my college expenses. And so for her, she really believed in my dream. And so she put her 401k on the line to give me a shot at being able to go to college. And I'm forever grateful to her for that. But one of the things that I want to talk about when it comes to those families, we can go back real quick. I really want to paint this picture on this 401k. What happens a lot of times is when parents are kind of in a position where they want to see their children's dream come true, they will do almost anything to make that dream a reality. And what I mean by that is I have seen families that will do like my mom and they'll take money out their 401k. And I don't know if you know this, but when you do that, a lot of times for your son or your daughter, people do it as loans. I've seen people take them out as straight distribution, meaning that they pay taxes, which could be up to 40% taxes on taking money out of their 401k just to pay for the college expenses. Seen people put second mortgages on their home. I've seen people that they've sold possessions that they really value just to cover making sure that their son or daughter's dream becomes a reality. And there's a better way. And so going over to the next slide, the other problem that we see is the average amount of time that a student will spend with their school counselor, which was the same plight that I had, is actually only 38 minutes. And that's over their entire 4 years that they're in high school. And so again, we're not going live to bash any of the school counselors that are out there. It's just a statistic that came from the National Association of School Counseling. And when they said this, it's there's too many students and not enough time. The national ratio is 475 to 1. That means that there's 475 students to every one school counselor, right? And so even though the school counselors have a heart to make a difference, they only have so much capacity in one day, right? And so with this problem, we see that the students are in school and they're now incurring trillions of dollars. You're fine. Trillions of dollars of debt. And the reason why is it's up to $1.6 trillion in student loan debts because students don't know that there's free money that's out there. There's $3.7 billion that goes unclaimed in federal grants because families are frustrated. They don't know how to complete the FAFSA form. They don't know how to apply for the grants that are out there. And because of this flight, you see a lot of people that are deferring to getting student loans because they're going about this whole process entirely the wrong way. We'll go to the next slide. So I want you to meet a young lady that we are so fond of. Her name is Holly Jackson, class of 2020. So Holly came to us. She was basically like I was back in 1992. So the problem still hasn't been solved 30 plus years later, which was Holly, just like me, had National Honor Society, great student, a beautiful student. high aspirations to do something big with her life. And then she found out that, the school counselors unfortunately may not have given her family the adequate support that she deserved. And so because of that, me and Holly now have a couple things in common. So we'll move over to the next slide. And so what we have in common is we are both a product of a broken system. And again, we're not here to point any fingers at any of the school counselors. We work with a lot of the school districts right now. I'm in schools like all the time. But the system is bigger than the school counselors. The system is basically how the whole process, the game is played. And we want to break down some of the rules of the game today so you guys can understand some of the problems that we see with families and why students are taking gap years, while we see students that are actually not going, or they even opting to just go directly into the workforce and not maximize their ability to get more education. So let's jump into the next slide real quick. And so, who is College Coaching Network? We are readily accessible, basically a school counselor on demand. You have access to scholarships on demand, and it gives you guys the ability to really access us on the go, right? And so we wanted to make sure that you guys receive more than 38 minutes of school counseling. We want to put you in a position where you were able to access the training, the support, and everything that you need when you need it. So let's jump to the next slide real quick. And so where have we been featured on? And sometimes, as a person that started from humble beginnings, you see some of these things that we have been featured on, and it's humbling to see that we were reached out to by the U.S. News and World Report, Sprint Accelerator, 1 Million Cups. I remember speaking there. Kaufman Foundation, we got a grant through Digital Sandbox. Pipeline, I just got inducted in the class of 2022 to be one of the top entrepreneurs in the city. SBDC, which is Small Business Start Engine, we pitched their people, which is tied to Kevin O'Leary with Shark Tank, and we were able to take our corporation out and sell stock. Our company went from a $2.5 million valuation to $6 million, and our stock price went from $5 to $10.91 a share. So it was pretty interesting to see that whole process. Digital Sandbox, Casey SourceLink, and the list goes on. So grateful for all the people that have acknowledged all that we have accomplished at College Coaching Network. But let's jump to the next slide. Enough about us. So let me walk you guys through real quick a broken system and how this broken system happens. So traditionally, when you get ready to go buy a car, you'll go out there and you will first go to the dealership, or you'll go online, you'll find your dream car, and then you say, hey, I want to actually maybe test drive the car. So the next step of test driving the car is you're going to actually go to the dealership and maybe get in the car and see if this is what you like, right? And so a lot of that is the same way when you're college planning. Like, you may go online and look at a virtual tour. You may be in a position where you actually go to the campus to kind of check things out. But then after you do that, the next step is in buying a car is you want to get qualified, right? They're going to do what's called a pre-approval. But in the college planning process, it is completely different from that. So let's jump to the next slide real quick. So what happens is, before we jump into college price matching, is when you go through the college planning process. Actually, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. You read my mind. So when you go through the college planning process, I'm going to point this out real quick. When you go through it, you apply to college. Once you apply to college, you get accepted into college. Then once you get accepted into college, you do what's called your FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. After you do the FAFSA, then your next move is you're going to now sit back and wait, patiently wait, and then you're going to get what's called an award letter. And the award letter basically tells you how much they really love you and how much they're willing to give you to attend their college. Now, the problem with this, and I want to really make sure you catch this point. If you get ready to buy a home, if you get ready to buy a car, you get pre-qualified up front. So then you know what you can afford as far as the total price, the payment, and all those things that are. And so you don't get shocked at the 11th hour when you get ready to go to closing that you can't afford the home, because they pre-qualify you up front. But this is not what happens in college planning. What happens is you find the college you want to go to, you apply. No one has told you up to this point that you cannot afford it. You get your FAFSA done, you get your award letter, and at the 11th hour, and sometimes for those families that haven't done their FAFSA yet, now we're in March, you're not going to probably get an award letter probably until sometime at the latter part of May, maybe even June. And so when do students normally go back to college? They go back in August, right? And so if you're ten or $11,000 short, what happens is you'll find out that you are now trying to figure out how in the world you're going to pay thousands of dollars at the 11th hour. Our program is designed to make sure that reality is not yours. Okay, so let's jump over to the next slide. Talking about Holly. Holly came to us again, great GPA, high aspirations to do something positive with her life, but they were caught in the same dilemma my mom was when she took money out of her 401k. So what did we do for Holly? We taught her a technique called college leveraging. And so she had some other colleges that were not as desirable as the college that she actually wanted to go to. And so what she did was she took those award letters from those other schools, and we taught her and her mom how to write an appeal letter. And when she wrote the appeal letter, it allowed her to leverage those other schools against the primary school she wanted to go to. And we got her $52,000 more in additional scholarships because we were able to do what's called like Walmart price matching. We were able to negotiate the colleges against each other. So those are some of the things that we teach when we go through. But I want to jump into an actual demo and walk you through some of the things that we do when we really get deep into the weeds and we walk you guys through how to maximize finding scholarships and grants. So I am going to share my screen. See here what, and let me go here to sharing my screen. And let's go here and here. All right. So I need to make sure when I'm sharing my screen, can you give me a thumbs up on the backside, my tech team? Can you let me know in the private chat if you can actually see what I'm doing here? Okay, awesome. All right, let me go back. Thank you so much for that. All right, so this is part of our software that we use with the students to kind of walk you guys through how to maximize these scholarships that are out there. It's just a couple of the techniques I want to share with you today. So I am going to pick out where I went to college. So I'll go, and again, I'm not doing this as a bash. I'm a graduate of Pittsburg State University, and I have nothing but high regard for them. So when you're doing research to kind of pre-qualify yourself up front, these are some of the things you want to pay attention to. So it shows a total amount of students that are undergrad that have applied to go to the university. You can see that they're a public college. If you see a school that's a private school, that's an indication that they don't have out-of-state tuition. They only have so you don't have to worry about that piece. But if it's public, you have in-state and out-of-state, which that could be a problem depending upon where you decide to go. And then you can go down here, it gives you information on the different ethnicities that are there as far as women and men, what have you, as far as gender. And then ethnicity, they break that down a little bit further down. You can see GPAs and all those things that are there. But here is the secret sauce of what we really do a lot of research on. So this is the national average of what Pittsburgh State actually awards in their endowment. And so it's about 2,424. Now we know every situation is different based upon your own award letter. So I will put that disclaimer out. But this is public data, and this is showing you what the national average is for this university. So when we look at that, that gives us an idea of how much they award, even though the college in-state is $20,000, $20,680 a year. Now, we teach in our program. We work with students Monday through Thursday. Traditionally, Monday through Wednesday is all about scholarships, endowments, knowing how to go in here and do the research. So we have live coaching that the students actually come to. It's in the same kind of capacity, like a Zoom or link that they can go to get the information. And then we archive those meetings and put them into the experience of our platform, the app. Now, once they do that, we're going to go deeper into showing them how to do more research on that university. So I'm going to jump in here real quick, and I'm going to jump right into looking at the total amount. And while I'm jumping like this, I'm hoping that I'm still staying in the right window. So I'm going to jump back over here real quick and see, did you follow me when I jumped over to the new window? Give me a private chat real quick just to make sure. Okay, awesome. All right, so let me jump back over there to where I was at. All right, so coming in here, you can go and see that they have basically a 96% acceptance rate, and they are now test optional. So they are not really necessarily taking the ACT or the SAT. It's just the transcript only right now that they're asking for. Okay. Then we can go a little bit deeper, submitting ACT. 97% are still submitting the ACT. That's good to see because they want scholarships. They're smart. And then you can tell that they only have, even though that doesn't equal 100, 97 and 4%, but you can see a small amount are submitting SAT, which in the Midwest, we're more of an ACT driven state. So let's jump down here. Now, the average student at Pittsburg State University graduates, only 24% graduate in 4 years. I'm not using this data as a way of bashing Pittsburg State University because, again, I have my degree from there. I'm happy to have it. But I do want to point out that they have quite a bit of students that attend. When I went down there, I think it was probably like 4 or 5 thousand students that were there. I don't know what the total number is. I don't see that yet in here. Total number of students is 6,398 and 4,800 is undergrad. So it's about the same as it was. And 24% are graduating, right, in 4 years. So I saw on campus for myself that there was a lot of people that felt comfortable dropping classes and retaking classes, right? And again, I'm not saying that to knock. It's just something that you want to do research on. And what does that mean? That means that it may be a high probability that it may take you 5 years. And guess what? It took me 5 years to graduate from Pittsburgh State, right? I made some dumb decisions on classes I'm not going to talk about today, but it did take me 5 years to graduate from Pittsburgh State. So when you are coming through our program, we're not only teaching you how to look at the sticker price, but the cost of graduation. And so the average net price is about $14,000. And so what we do is we teach you guys how to look at the total endowment. So you can come down here, the average student is graduating with $14,000 worth of debt. And then this is giving you like what that loan repayment will look like. So we teach you how to go deeper into these numbers so you can make an informed decision up front. Because if you don't, it's going to cost you a lot of money in loans, and you're going to put yourself in a position where you are now making a decision that's going to impact you for the rest of your life. I'm going to show you one more university, and then I am going to come off my point. So I'm going to put in Duke University, and we can come through the same data that we talked about before. You can see the average ACT is there is 34, which is unbelievable. And you can see that their average amount from their endowment is not 2,000, but it's actually $49,000 that comes from their endowment, right? So it's pretty hefty. And then when you come down here, you're going to notice, let me go back up here real quick. When we went through the data, I want to jump in here real quick. You're going to see that there is some awesome information in here. They have an 8% acceptance rate. They do require the SAT and the ACT because they're giving out a lot of money. And then when you jump in here, you can see that they have an 88% 4-year graduation rate, right? So a lot of high success of students that actually come to this university. We've had students that came to our college fair on Monday that had 32s on their ACT that will easily qualify to go to this university, but they look at the sticker price of 70 some odd $1,000. I think it's down here further, and they get discouraged and they won't apply. But the average aid coming from that university is $50,000, and they cover 100% of the aid. There's some schools that are out there that will not cover 100% of the financial aid that you need. So all of that data is important to know as you make your decision. And those are the things that we do within the platform. I'm going to jump back over real quick into the app so you can actually see some things in here that's pretty cool. We do cash prizes for the students that are going through our program. We have access to over $24 billion in private scholarships. For those families that are looking for last minute scholarships, you can come in here, put in all your personal information for the student. And even if you're a parent, actually, I don't want to just belabor that, but if you can come in here, if you're a parent or if you're an adult returning student, you can put your information in and it will put you in a great position to get a scholarship if you want to go back to school as well. But the program shows you how to go through all those private scholarships that are out there and to take advantage of all those opportunities afforded for you and your family. So I am going to come back over to the main presentation. So there's some other cool things that are out there. Oh, wow, you couldn't see the screen that I'm sharing. I'm so sorry. But I kept rolling. I kept rolling. So I will make sure that I do another one and I'll put that out there. I couldn't tell because when I went into demo mode, I couldn't tell what was going on. So I definitely apologize for that. but we'll make sure we break down those numbers because you definitely need to see how to go through those numbers. I talked well about it, but you couldn't see it. So we'll make sure we get that. And at the 7 p.m., we will actually make sure from a technical standpoint, because this is the first time we've actually jumped into the platform and did it. Normally me and Nico are out here kind of talking about everything, but I want to make sure you guys have an opportunity to see it. So that is a reason to come to the 7 o'clock, or you have an opportunity to listen to the replay of the 7 on demand. You have an opportunity to look at it at that point. So I definitely humbly apologize. But I do want to point out one last thing in the story, and then I'm out of here. Um, for Holly, they use that Walmart price matching, that college leveraging technique. And when they did that, they put them in a position where they could leverage the other colleges against the primary school that they wanted to go to get the extra money that they received. And so if you could display real quick, if you could take me back into PowerPoint presentation, I want to show you a quick picture. And Mika, can you display the PowerPoint presentation one more time for me? There's one more picture on that slide I want to show. It's it's that one. Yes. So this is Holly performing at Pepperdine University, which was her dream college. She's now a sophomore at Pepperdine University. She's definitely going to be one of our ambassadors for College Coaching Network. So we're so excited about her being able to go on radio shows and things like that that we're going to be doing. But she's a sophomore. Her dream of going to Pepperdine University became a reality. And it's because of her hard work, her mom's support, her dad's support, and learning some small tips and tricks, like being able to make the colleges fight over you to give you more money. $52,000 more definitely helps and puts you in a better position where you don't go into a ton of student loan debt to make your dream a reality. So this could be you. We would love to have you come out and learn more about how to get into College Coaching Network, how to learn how to do extensive research on the schools to make sure you guys are making an informed decision and not becoming another student loan statistic, which is at $1.6 trillion right now for students and families. So the next step, we're going to put a link out here. If you guys would like to enroll and become a part of the College Coaching Network family, we will welcome you in. You're going to have access to coaching Monday through Thursday. 1 hour a day. Our team is here to help you out. We're going to give you more than 38 minutes, and we're going to put you guys in a position where your dream college can get funded and it can become a reality. Thank you guys for listening to our short, small little demo of our program. At 7, we will hash out so you can see all those nerdy numbers that I was talking about. Doing that college comparison, the software is pretty phenomenal, and I want to make sure you guys got a good opportunity to see it. Talk to you soon. Have a good day.